I was also talking about people investing into things that aren't supposed to be investments yesterday, but then I had to pick up Marianne from work, so I stopped. It was while I was playing RuneScape too, because I was talking about specifically Aerial Assault Trooper and Renegade Raider. Because for some reason, there are actually people who are upset about them reprinting. Reprinting. I'm just gonna say it in the form of card games. Watching a homie play. I was watching a homie play old school RuneScape. That game makes the weirdest noises. Yeah, like a lot of it is like updated, but not updated in a way where it's good. It's just like up to a standard that makes it feel like a classic game. Because that's how the game sounded back then too. That's the fucked up part. Right, like I played back then when Renegade Raider and Aerial Assault Troop would have been brand new. I didn't put money into the game though, so I don't have them. And I think to myself, wee woo ass noises, yeah. I think to myself, if I had those, would I be upset that they got re-added to the game? And my answer as like a normal fucking person is no. Right? And this is coming from someone who plays actively card games. Like I still have Magic the Gathering decks under my desk right now. They're here. There's a few Commander decks. And people look at card games and cards as collectibles all the time. Like baseball cards, hockey cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards. And there's a whole ass reserve list for some Magic the Gathering cards because they promised they wouldn't reprint them or it would tank the price. And like they have a secondary market value, right? So it's kind of a nice thing to do for your community that is a community of collectors. Now, when I think of a digital good, like a fucking skin in a video game, there's not really a digital marketplace for that skin unless you're playing something like CS2, in which case it's gambling anyway and like skin reselling. But in Fortnite, there's no actual way for you to get rid of Renegade Raider or Aerial Assault Trooper from your account and give it to someone else anyway. Like logically, right? There's without selling your account, which is against game rules. So if you're selling your account for buku boatloads of money, then you're actually breaking the TOS. You're breaking the terms of service. Now you can tell someone, oh, you shouldn't be allowed to tell me what to do with something I own. Well, I don't know if you know this, but you don't own that skin. If you like look at the TOS, you own a license to play the game. You're technically renting or leasing a license to play the game through the end user license agreement that they can revoke at any time. So if you go and sell your account because you want to make your money off Renegade Raider, Aerial Assault Trooper, any of the old Marvel skins that haven't been re-released, you're technically breaking game rules. Now, does that got shit to do with me? No, but it makes the idea of people being upset about Renegade Raider and Aerial Assault Trooper and any of those skins, like say it happened in a game like Call of Duty or Apex, where they add a skin to the game that was from an old battle pass that's supposed to be hard to get or rare, that doesn't have skin reselling. If there's people upset about that, it makes me look at them the same way and think that they're a moron, because I honestly can't think of a real reason why this could upset someone. I can't. Even in a game like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Force of Will, One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, because there's card games for all those games, Flesh and Blood. So I'm trying to think of card games, my bad. Even in those games, I think to myself, if someone is truly upset that a card is being reprinted, when the card game is supposed to be played, and some games are so expensive that it makes it hard for people to play the game or get into the game, they're mad that it got reprinted and the card lost its value because they were looking at the card as a value piece, like a piece of money, an investment. Why the fuck aren't you playing stocks instead? I think stocks are probably safer than card games when it comes to collectibles. Especially card games that are built around a competitive experience and actually playing the game, right? Like you don't play baseball cards, you collect them. Pokemon is called a trading card game. You're supposed to trade the cards. And it also has the word game in it. You're supposed to play it. Which means if you're not doing one of these things, you might be doing something wrong. Right? If you're just collecting them, then inherently part of their value is gone. You're not getting the full value of the card because you're not using it, right? Something like, I think of really old expensive cards in Pokemon that were part of a competitive format. Yeah, why trade when you could scout box sets from Costco and flip them? Yeah, like that. If you're immediately reselling, sure, but if you're sitting on it and holding it, not expecting it to be reprinted, you're an idiot. I think of things like during the heyday of a card like Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance was like $130. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Pot of Extravagance was like $130, but it's an extremely powerful and prominent card in the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG, or was. And because of that, everyone knew it was going to be reprinted. So sitting on that card and looking at it as a monetary value piece instead of a trade value piece, right? Like say you're trying to trade for an entire deck core that's like a $300 deck core. You could trade 2 of those probably and get the deck core. But if you're just holding on to them, hoping they're going to go up in value so you could flip them for money, you're an idiot. You're so stupid, bro. Right, in games with like stable competitive orbits, with cards that go up in value because the decks become more powerful, right? If you think about something like when Fatal Push was rotated out of standard for Magic the Gathering, here's another good example. Fatal Push, a very powerful 1-drop removal spell in black, rotated out of standard where it wasn't really strong anyway. It wasn't all that strong because there wasn't fetch lands. But in a format like Modern, it was an extremely powerful removal spell for a long time. It might still be because fetch lands are all over the place. So Revolt is very easy to trigger. Revolt is when a permanent of yours leaves the graveyard, or goes to the graveyard from the battlefield. You get an extra effect on the card, and the extra effect on Fatal Push is instead of being a destroy a 1 or 2-drop, you can destroy up to a 4-drop with 1 black mana at instant speed. Extremely powerful in that format because of fetch lands, which destroy themselves to fetch for another land out of your deck. Right? I think I've explained that well enough. That card for a long time was extremely expensive. So if you had a binder full of Fatal Pushes, you were thinking of it as hopefully value for trade, not value for money. Because it was reprinted a few times. And of course it was reprinted a few times. It's an extremely powerful staple that people wanting to play that color in the game. So having it be hard to obtain and expensive means that there's going to be less people likely to play that color or, indeed at all, play that card game competitively. Or that format of the card game. Right? Sheoldred is a perfect example. Sheoldred, the Apocalypse, is extremely expensive and a very powerful Magic the Gathering card. I'm surprised they haven't reprinted that card some way, somehow. But it's because it's a standard legal card, where standard, if they print it again into standard, it stays in the format for another 3 fucking years. So that's the only reason why you feasibly cannot reprint that card. You'd have to start doing challenger decks again to be able to reprint one Sheoldred in a challenger deck to lower its price. Now, will Sheoldred stand the test of time and move on to a format like Pioneer or Modern? Probably. It will probably be a Pioneer staple at some point. And when it is, maybe it'll get reprinted into a Pioneer supplemental product to lower its price. If you're holding on to 20 Sheoldreds because they're good money, you're an idiot. If you're holding on to 20 Sheoldreds because it's good trade value, you have a brain. Card games are not investments. Skins in video games outside of Fiasco, because you can literally gamble with them and trade them and sell them, are not investments. So if you're upset about your favorite skin in a game being re-released when it's a digital good that has no monetary value attached to it, you are an idiot. I can't think of a nicer way to tell you that you need to get a grip on reality other than start collecting or investing in things that are real investment pieces, like, I don't know, fucking stocks and crypto. Turn into a fucking crypto bro if you really think Renegade Raider was going to make you your money back in 10 years. Because you're already being played. Just go invest in Hawk 2 a coin. I mean, you're already throwing away your money.